Okay, so the Corsair DDR5 Invitational Overclocking competition is now over. I still have maybe like 40 liters of LN2 remaining. I thought about trying at least a 12300 on LN2, which did like a pretty good job on water cooling. The target frequency on LN2 is somewhere around 6 GHz for Citybench R20 and so on. So the target frequency isn't that high in the end. So this CPU could have like a decent chance to be good on LN2. So I just did very simple post and boot process on the memory. I always like to double check the memory nowadays before I go very cold. Like do some certain settings, make sure it posts and works before I start pouring and going very cold. You don't want to be wasting LN2 that much if you have, let's say, like a bad installation on the memory. So yeah, should be pretty good. Currently running Geekbench 3 at 6600 memory, 30, 37, 37, 28, 65 current rate 1. The IMC on this CPU isn't as good as on the Core i9 variants, so the IMC or the memory frequency cannot go as high as on Core i9 variants, but it's still somewhat okay. So got a score. Now we will be going very cold. Let's hope everything goes pretty well, and let's see if we can get any good scores. So I will get back to you with the capture card once I get to operating system with proper settings. So the setup is the same once again. EVGA Z690 dark Kimpin, 12300 CPU with KPX thermal paste from Kimpin Cooling and the latest revision of T-Rex container, and 2 sticks of G.skill, I think they're Trident Z 6400 Cache 32, so the best possible DDR5 memory sticks from G.skill at the moment. They did around 8200 on LN2 with Cache 27 in Geekbench 3. I also have LN2 pot mounted and ready to go for the memory if needed be, but I think I won't be using it, but it's there just in case if I need a tiny bit more like on the memory for Geekbench 3 record score. But anyway, so let's get going. Okay, so now I'm in the BIOS. The BIOS version is beta BIOS from early March. This is non-K supported BIOS, but of course we could use the latest retails. I think the maximum multiplier for multi-core was 42, so we can start, let's say, like 38, 42. We have to take into account the cache speed, and these CPUs don't have the E-cores, so we are running AVX 512 from the get-go, and this CPU does support AVX 512 as its 2021 batch. So actually, do I have any profile? I can just put this as in, just in case. So let's go over here. So I think this was with 12300. So this would be, let's say, so 135 would be 5.6 GHz. We could start at that. 35. Enable LN2 mode 2 as suggested on the right hand side of the screen. So mode 1 for around 100 MHz, mode 2 for a bit elevated megahertz, so 100 to 300, and mode 3 for the very extreme high BCL case. So mode 2 in our case, and we can put, let's say, like 1.55 volts in that, 75%, 750, 1.26, 1.9, and 1.1 and 1.1. So let's come down in the memory just in case, and 1.58, 30, 37, 37. I will use the same. So we will use command rate 1, 2.135. We can actually use the information that we are running at the moment. So 4, 6, 14, 16. Cache write latency, I always like to leave it auto. 12, 362, 62, 143, 318, 4, 11, 7, 4, 4, 17, 17, 4, 4, 5, 6. Sometimes it's a very good idea to leave these two at auto. 4, 4, 11, 7, and 1, 1, 7, 32. That's the setting table we are going to be using. So we can, let's disable these, and Here we can disable at least audio and PWM 100%, and we don't need Samsung, so I will put 12300 LN2. So I'll try to go to, let's say, like once 100, and let's do F10 save and exit and see what happens. Okay, so I just ended the operating system. So it seems that the IMC is heavily limited once you go very high on the BCLK. So I had to drop the memories down by 1 notch, but of course we can work that higher later. So close to 5.7, so 5670. Let's try to run. We can maybe start with R15 just to make things like faster. So usually the R15 and R20 they are pretty close to each other, and I'm only at minus like 100. $1.55 volts, so should be pretty solid. And this is the fastest quad-core CPU in the world, by the way, if you didn't know. So rest in peace 7740X and some of the N5300G. So let's so 1702, but of course I'm not too interested in this test at the moment. Double check the voltages. And now we can put 138, see what happens. Usually you cannot move the base clock too much inside the operating system. And remember, top is 6 GHz. But I might want to go back into the BIOS even if this passes, instead of raising the BCLK even more, because you cannot do too large increments with on BCLK inside the operating system. So this is not like 775 or 1366. You cannot do too high increments. So completely fine. I'll go back and I'll try, let's say, like 140. Okay, 5.9. Let's hope it runs. Or 722. 48 something is the top score. So let's try to adjust the base clock a little bit. Memories at close to 6400. So 142. No damn idea would V-Core help. Five, 9, 6, 3. Okay, almost. 4853, 12-point increase. 6046. Pretty good efficiency as well. The safe disk was running, I think, 6060. So safe disk was running 6070. Okay, I just want to see this. So I completely forgot that GPU Pi 1 billion is still held by 5300G, but just out of interest, I want to see what's the performance difference between a quad-core Alder Lake and 5300G, around 6 GHz. Okay, so absolutely no chance, pretty much. Way too slow, absolutely no different, absolutely no chance. We can still save this very quickly. Okay. Just wanna try. I don't know if we could adjust any of the memory settings. So memory is hidden. So now we can do 143. Let's try to increase the cache. Oh yeah, I forgot to adjust the cache for R20 and so on. So cache 5, I think that can go much higher. Yeah, almost rank 1! Yeah, this CPU is good. Huge thanks to Soliton once again for helping me out on getting this one. Let's put 38. 38, 5433. One more. Okay, and rerun before adjusting baseclock. I just want to see, could that be enough to, does cache make a difference on these low core count models? Yeah, no difference indeed, it's free. Pretty much 143.4. This could be it. 5.6 roughly on the cache. Okay, now we are passing. 38779. 38779. 38825. If you ever played Wolfenstein Enemy Territory, I think the one of the American soldiers said, "Out of the way, baby." Doesn't really matter. But yeah. Let's save this. Okay, I put SPD. Not everyone cares too much about SPD. It only gives the model number of your memory kit. So same CPU frequency, but our memory score was 800 points lower, but we still beat the overall score. So pretty awesome. And now let's check very briefly R20 number with higher memory. Then we just need to move the memory up, I think. Okay, so that one and so roughly the same, but at much lower clock speed. Pretty good. So let's try. 4867. Okay, 4850. Okay, so one thing I want to show you about posting these locked CPUs like the 12300. So these are very delicate on the temperature. It has to be alright if you want to post and boot the maximum clock speed successfully. So it is actually the core speed that's giving issues. So now I'm currently at -157 on the CPU, and the cold boot bug temperature of the CPU is 163 roughly. So what you can do, so let's fire this up, and instantly when you see 55, turn slow mode on now, and we will have full stability to go into the BIOS and so on. Okay. So try this if you bench any locked CPU on LN2. So just flip to the slow mode once it goes to 55 debug code after you turn on the system. Okay, so I cannot move any higher on the memory multiplier, at least this far, so I just tighten up some timings once again. Let's nail it now, guys. So 5960 something, CPU clock and CPU at full boot temperatures, and yeah. So it was 722, so let's hope for 30.6 something. Yep, rank 1! Ooh, rank 1. So pretty much like one attempt, rank 1. I think it's pretty awesome. I hope one of my G7400s would be this good. 6800 plus, 27, 37, 37, 28, 65, command rate 1. I'll take the SPD as well, briefly. I need to refill some LN2, and then I will run X265. And we have then pretty much all of the important top scores. G.skill 6400, CAS 32. Probably the best memory kit on the planet at the moment. Okay, let's briefly try Geekbench. Just 0, 143, 39, 6005. We did pass this CPU frequency in this test. I think we could even try higher V-core. Okay, 38,903, 14,180. We could I would like to see 39K. Okay, so this should take around 3 minutes, but don't know about the efficiency in this compared to Server 2012, but let's see. I think CPU clock 5980, close to 6 GHz. Okay, so there's a lot of trick in X265 4K if you run it in Windows 10. That's why many people like to run it in Server 2012 or in the latest server, I think it's Server 2020. So now we have a new world record in quad-core category, so 15.902 FPS at 5984 on the core. Cache is at 5.7. 6840 MEMS, 27, 37, 37, 28, command rate 1, the beta BIOS, and here's the SPD. So when you just usually run the whole thing. In Windows 10 you might get very bad performance. I got many like 14.4 or 14.6 FPS runs. But then if you change the monitor information, so you might change from 100 Hz to 60 Hz and back and forth, it will work very fast once again. So here I'm running 100 Hz. This monitor supports up to 280, but I'm using old, so Galaxy Fishbone 710 GT. This doesn't support that high refresh rate. So by playing around with the refresh rate, you can get the efficiency working in even in Windows 10, so you don't need a server operating system. So that's my personal hint for you guys who want to run this test for like good scores on hardware, but no matter which cooling method. So these are now pretty much all of the records that I needed to get. I might do a very quick bash with like -20, -30 cold memories in Geekbench 3 Y Cruncher, and I will just re-enable the capture card. So that's pretty good. Damn awesome once again. Okay, so that's pretty much the end. I'm filming this like overview or wrap up during the next day. So it was pretty awesome run overall. So all of the important top scores in the quad-core category. The only thing I'm missing is the quad-core record in GPU Pi for CPU 1 billion, and that's still held by the 5300G Zesani CPU. As we demonstrated, the 12300 is far behind 5300G, even at much higher clock speed. So definitely not possible for this architecture. So it would be awesome to try some very good 5300G that can go very cold, because most of them have a cold bug somewhere around -120 degrees Celsius. But anyway, so very damn awesome. I got the R20 record score for multiple times, so well above 6 GHz, and also the cache could go up to the maximum multiplier, which was, I think it was 39. When I set 40 to 41, it didn't go any higher for some reason. And Geekbench 3 close attempt on 39,000. So the first record score was 38,805, I think, somewhere around that mark. Then final score was 38,900 something. Memory needs to go higher, but for some reason I actually tried the memory zone cold very briefly at the end, and they didn't go any higher. So it seems to be an IMC limitation, so cannot go up to like 7100 multiplier. But I actually didn't try command rate 2, so that was probably a mistake, but I didn't want to waste any more LN2 with this CPU. I still want to give like a final bash at the G7400. I think I have somewhere around 20 to 25 liters of LN2 remaining. I want to try the G7400, briefly the better one. So if I can confirm that it's at least not good, I can sell the bad CPUs and start to look for another one. But anyways, the X2654K was a damn lucky one. So for some reason the efficiency was always very, very bad. There's some like lagging related issue with that test in Windows 10 and most of the other operating systems as well, because you can actually see the render image throughout the test. So when I was testing at 5.95 to 6 GHz for multiple times, the score was only like 14.4 FPS, 14.6 FPS. But when I changed the monitor refresh rate, it actually started working again, and I could see like 2 FPS gain immediately at the start. So that fixed the issue. So I accidentally recognized this when first I obviously tried with the capture card, and the issue with the capture card is that the display output is locked at 60 Hz and it's quite laggy. When I move the screens inside operating system, they do lag quite a bit. So I removed, or I detached the capture card, and I connected the monitor straight to the Galaxy Fish 710 GPU. Even it was the same situation, no matter if I just reran the test just like that, or by just closing the whole like program and just reopen it and so on, it was the same. Then the whole thing was much more smooth. The windows were much more smooth, and I could get much better score in the end. Most people run Server 2012 and Server 2020 for this test because there the issue doesn't really exist as badly as it does in like normal Windows 10. But the score was pretty alright. So 15.9 FPS. Previous top score was I think it was 15.8 to 7 by SafeDisk, and Nick from Germany was like 813, and they were a tiny bit lower on the clock speed compared to me, so I could at least find this issue. So now if we use this same method, we don't necessarily need server operating system just for X265, which is a very good thing, or can be a good thing depending on your on how you prefer. But yeah, so those are pretty much the results. And the Y Cruncher, Y Cruncher, I managed to do a new record score at 30.6 something. Previous one, I think it was 30.712 by SafeDisk. I only ran the test once, so it was as you could see, it was pretty much like one run and record score. That was it. I didn't try to improve my score at all in that test, so I just wanted to get things done as fast as possible. But those are pretty much the numbers. So I think the only one missing is it's the GPU Pi 1 billion. We can maybe do that later if we find a better 5300G. So if you like to see these scores, they are all available on hardwarebot.org, so definitely check them out if you are interested in them. And my current ranking in hardwarebot, like whole career ranking, is 3 at the moment at 7400 points. The current top guys who have been there for a very long time, so Splave and OGS, they are somewhere around like 7800 to 7900. If I could do some more very important global top scores, we already see them in the horizon. So it's at least cool to be in the top 3. So so pretty awesome. So let's hope the G7400 is at least decent, and let's see what we can do with that one later. So thanks for watching one of my videos once again. Please check out my Patreon page as well if you want to support my work. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.